Good evening. I am Jennifer Fay, and tonight I will be interviewing Russell Powell, the Executive Director of the New England Apple Association. Nice to see you, Russell. How are you?
I'm well, Jennifer. How are you?
I'm very well. There is speculation that you, as Director of the New England Apple Association, is trying to develop a market for locally branded sliced apples. Can you tell me a little bit about what made you decide this was a good market to enter?
Sure. There are a few main reasons behind this decision. I hope to use sliced apples as a way to revive the New England apple industry, which, as you know, has been in decline for a generation. Hopefully, a new apple product will help to do that. Secondly, many growers are looking for new products to introduce to the market, and in the words of one grower, Frank Carlson, looking at where the fresh sliced apple market is going, I think growers would be short-sighted if they were not at least thinking about the opportunity.
In other words, you think that the sliced apple market is untapped and could be a viable solution for the New England Apple Association?
Exactly. Also, many schools are starting to use healthier menu options for their kids, and sliced apples could be a big part of that. Along with schools, many fast food restaurants such as McDonald's, Burger King, Subway, and Wendy's are developing healthier menus that include apple slices as sides, rather than unhealthier options like fries.
Seems like you've done quite a bit of research on the topic. What are some of the obstacles that you foresee may hinder your progress in entering the market?
Great question. First of all, there are not a lot of apple processors in the New England area that are capable of producing sliced apples. Additionally, adding capacity or building new plants would be expensive. Also, a sliced apple market would require cooperation among growers that has not existed in the industry for years. This is due to individual risks and time investments that they are not willing to sacrifice.
It seems like your biggest obstacle is to facilitate cooperation among the growers. Assuming you can make this happen, how would you plan on distributing the apple slices? I know that the apple skin helps prevent bacteria or other organisms from entering the flesh of the apple and making it unsafe to eat. And once cut, the flesh turns brown within minutes and bacteria begin to grow. How do you intend to keep this from happening during the distribution process?
You're correct about that. In order to keep this from happening, we use natural chemicals that delay the enzymatic transformation of starches into sugars. These chemicals will be used in order to keep the apples crisp and fresh before packaging. Even then, the shelf life of the apples is only 21 days. This gives our supply chain a short window when distributing our products to our retailers.
The chemical seems like a very important step in the process. Could you explain a little more about the process of chemically treating the apples?
Absolutely. Since the 1990s, different food processors have developed methods to slice apples. These methods rely on proprietary disinfection systems and anti-browning treatments from NatureSeal. These washes consist largely of ascorbic acids, more commonly known as vitamin C, to prevent browning, and calcium to maintain its texture.
That is very interesting. So tell me, when the apples are ready to be harvested, what methods do you employ to harvest them?
The first method we used is called self-pick. This is where families come to the orchards and pick their own bushels of apples. Families view this as a family event that combines entertainment and food shopping. While the price of a bushel of apples is important, it is usually not their main consideration.
So you actually have families come to the orchards and pick their own bushels of apples? This sounds like it kills two birds with one stone. Your apples are being picked while you promote goodwill in the area by providing family-friendly entertainment.
Absolutely.
So what are some of the disadvantages of this method of picking?
While having the families pick their own apples is good, it does provide some drawbacks. First, although we don't hire pickers, we have to hire staff to manage the crowds. Secondly, the self-pick customer is not always an efficient picker. We estimate that in 1 year, 2/3 of a grower's crop is picked, while the remainder is either damaged or dropped on the ground. These damaged apples represent lost profits. This last disadvantage to self-pick is that bad weather keeps customers at home. If customers are kept at home for several weekends during the harvest season, the farmer might end up with many apples left on his trees.
Wow, this sounds like there are a lot of disadvantages associated with self-picking. What are other methods you employ to harvest your apples?
The other method we used is to hire laborers.
Well, what are some of the benefits that experienced pickers offer other than that self-pickers do not offer?
Well, compared to the self-pickers, hired workers pick a higher percentage of apples, eat fewer apples along the way, and let fewer apples drop to the ground. Also, they work much faster. They work full work weeks instead of just weekends like the self-pickers do. And they work in cloudy, rainy, and cold conditions. When hail or damaging winds are in the weather forecast, hired labor is much more likely to get the crop in ahead of the storm.
It seems as though both options provide significant advantages and disadvantages. Well, we are out of time for tonight. It was good having you on the show, and I wish you best of luck in your business venture.
Thank you for having me. It was a pleasure. Well, that works.